Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation, along with.
CJ Liu from the Fire It Up with CJ show. I was expecting you to say Michael Sandler on the road. Sorry.
Yes, this is Michael Sandler on the road, along with.
CJ Liu from the Fire It Up with CJ show.
If you've ever wondered where to go, how to reinvent yourself, and how in the world to end 2020, then do we have the Follow the Energy show for you. Today we'll talk about finding breadcrumbs, pulling on the golden thread, and feeling where in the world to go from here. That plus we'll talk about smoky guidance, doubling back, Zion shifts, 5 elements, all-nighter, client jazz, wings and magic, Ruru superstardom, 50-point turns, that's 50-point turns, feeling completely and totally lost, and what in the world spring break and Sedona have to do with
Oh
anything.
no.
So welcome back to the show, CJ. Are you ready to
I
shine?
am ready to shine. Woohoo! You're
All
not
right.
even doing a woohoo. That's got to be pretty bad. I'm doing first chakra, Michael, for you.
All right. And so last time we spoke, where was I?
You were in Zion and you had just landed there and found a mysterious spot, even though there were supposed to be no spots. That's where you were
So
last time.
So Zion is where all of the energy began to shift. Everything started to open up. Things started to feel better. We'd
Right.
flown through the Grand Canyon. We had done our
Flying through the
vows.
Grand Canyon.
Yes, we had flown through the Grand Canyon.
Excuse me.
We had done, as you've done before, Angel Landing in Zion. And from Zion, we went to, I keep wanting to say it's Yellowstone, but I'm going to go with the north rim of the Grand Canyon. And we just felt pulled or called there, and I've been not choosing. It has been a very strategic choice to follow wherever Jessica is pulled. This is pulling on the golden thread, seeing where we're called. We found the first day we were in Grand Canyon, we did a very short hike. We had a super challenged time with internet connectivity. We stayed that night. The next day we hiked down into the Grand Canyon, which, as I'm sure you know, hiking into the Grand Canyon, not so bad. Hiking back out of the Grand Canyon, that's where you go, why did I go so far?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yes. I've made that mistake in Haleakala. That was my grand mistake. Like, woo, this is fun. Oh my goodness.
And that's what Jessica was actually comparing it to, because we lived on the side of Haleakala, a dormant volcano in Maui, and coming back up, that is exactly how she was describing it felt. But there'd been an energetic shift taking place. We got out of the Grand Canyon, hiked out of the Grand Canyon, and we took Ruru out for a little walk, which means I'm carrying Ruru like a baby in my arms. And I have never seen, you've seen Beatles Mania, like when they first got on the show. These kids come running up to us out of RVs, out of cars, out of everywhere. Can we have your photo taken? Adults, can we have your photo taken? One woman asked, "Is this an attraction?"
Is this a traveling circus? Because kind of like it seems like it with the cats and the
So we,
chicken.
we have we have started the. I don't think we've done much with it, but we have started the Ruru Instagram page, and I get into a rhythm of a daily Ruru post. He's by my side as we speak. He's been inside most of the day. He's actually very chill, which is surprising this afternoon, but he's really pretty chill. We'll see how he stays.
Is he wearing a little
Um,
sunglasses now? He's like, really, I just can't. Too much.
well, Sedona is so bright. He probably should be because it's like 85, 90 degrees outside still.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And this is that's several steps along the journey, but maybe he should have the Sedona sunglasses on.
Yeah, seriously. He's like in his stardom. So I have a curiosity. So when you and Jessica were pulling on the thread, is it like you got a map and she just like did this, or is it like how did you feel for where you wanted to go next?
You already answered it in the question. Feel.
Okay, so you kind of felt
She
it.
felt we should go to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon. Now, the second day we were there, we had planned on spending several more days there, but something happened with the tanks, the holding tanks for the clean water, the dirty water, and the RV. And even though we had just, I think, emptied things out, it said full or there was a challenge with it. And we had to leave right away, and there was no facilities for 40 or 50
Oh,
miles.
wow.
And so we left the Grand Canyon earlier than expected, understanding its steering, its guidance.
Right.
Like today, we're here. This is just jumping a little bit all over the place, and I'll explain where we are. Today, Jessica tried out the laundry machine on the RV again, and it filled one of the water tanks. And
Oh.
so, what does that mean? Well, it means tomorrow we get to either leave and come back or leave. And we can say, well, that's a bummer. You weren't planning on leaving. You weren't planning on going anywhere yet. Or you can say, oh, wow, how cool is that? Universe is steering and giving us guidance here. And that's part of the golden thread as well, is without judgment, recognizing that each thing that's happening, not happening, opening, not opening, closing, not closing, is all just steering.
Mm-hmm. Totally like the Camino for me. Not to keep on bringing that up, but it's
No, no,
very
it
similar
is.
kind of energy. You're like, life is guiding me. I'm just following the little breadcrumbs, like you're saying. So, where did you go after the North Rim?
North Rim, we drove through the Navajo Reservation on their way to Flagstaff and Sedona.
Oh,
And it was
wow.
a trip back in time for me because I had dated a Navajo girl for 6.5 years. And she had started appearing in my dreams just a couple of days before the
Mm,
Grand Canyon
mm-hmm,
and hadn't appeared in any dream in at least 20 years. So it was,
mm.
and I didn't even know we were going to be going through the Navajo Nation.
Right.
So it was really interesting, 30-foot RV bouncing down these highway roads. The federal government does not take care of the highway on the Navajo Nation. A whole nother story. But we get to Flagstaff where there's an opportunity to dump our water. And afterwards, it's getting really dark, and it's a twisty, turny road down to Sedona.
Hmm.
And are we going to go for it? Yeah, okay, we'll go for it. We pass a county park where, oh, maybe well, let's just pull in here and sleep for the night. And it says there's no overnighting here.
Hmm.
And so we continued, and we found a national forest road where we thought we could pull off. No big deal. We pull off the road. And no, it looks like we need to pull off more. This isn't quite the right spot. Oh, wait, that's going to be too steep. We're not going to be able to make it through there. Wait a second, we need to back up. Oh, wait, here comes a car behind us. Oh, wait, here comes another car behind us. Oh, wait, here comes another car. Oh, here's a car in front of us. And I can't really back up because I might tip the RV off of this thing.
Wow.
And it was such a beautiful experience in, I brought my Zen game. Jessica's been watching me and wondering, would I fall apart on this trip? Would this be too much? And here we are with a stack of cars behind us, cars in front of us. No way to do this with any level of grace and ease. It's after dark. She's got a headlamp on. She's outside. We're brushing against tree branches with the RV.
Oh,
And I'm
God.
like, "Look, we got all the time in the world. We got this." And I just went into super Zen mode. It's been coming. It's been a cultivation. It's been years of practice and in practice. And it was like a 50-point-ish kind of turn. It was ugly.
Oh,
There's a
how long
line
did it
of
take?
cars. All told, the process was probably 30, 40 minutes to get us U-turn.
Oh my gosh. And what
The
were the
cars,
people outside just like laughing, or are they kind of like
most cars
mad?
could get past us.
Oh, okay,
We
so that's not a
stayed in
big
their
deal.
cars. It's in the dark. There was a line of cars out into the highway by the time we got going, but they knew we were stuck.
Right. It's like
We were
there's
just
nothing.
doing what we could, and we went back to that county fairgrounds, whatever place, county park. We just said, all right, it says no sleeping overnight. We ain't got no
Kick
choice.
us out if you need to.
Next day, we get into Sedona. There are lines of people walking down the road on the twisty, turny road, like it's spring break and everybody's going to Daytona Beach or something. I guess they're here to see fall foliage for fall
Wow.
college break. And it was crazy. And getting into town was crazy. And the RV parks were packed. And the
Oh
one
no.
call says no availability till November. I barely find my way into the Whole Foods bank parking lot. brushing tree branches because it's a 12-foot high vehicle. And this is another opportunity where she's looking at me like, all right, how's he going to do now? Because we had 10 years ago was our last road trip like this, and
Right.
it wasn't pretty. I've been working on her scar tissue for years. Between you and me, the last time I was in Sedona with her, I melted down. I had a blood sugar crash so bad, I'm crying at a gas station.
Oh, no.
Somebody came running up to her and said, do you need me to call the police? So she's like, how's he going to handle the energy? And I'm in this bank parking lot. This guy's staring at me with his dog. I'm like, he's staring at me. She's like, oh, no, here it goes. And I pull off to the side, and I'm like, don't worry. We got this. We got all the time in the world. And we called the RV park and said, do you have any cancellations? And they said, by chance, we do. We just had a cancellation.
Oh.
And then basically they said, are you like under 25 feet? And we're like, no. And she's like, no cancellation then. And then Jessica's on her phone. She's looking and she's like, well, the Elks Lodge, she's like, did we sign up for membership because we were going to get sponsored and stuff beforehand? And I'm like, no, we didn't have time to do that. And she goes, well, it looks like you could still park at the Elks Lodge. It costs a little bit more. I'm like, perfect. Let's go there. We get outside the Elks Lodge. Every RV, and a lot of Elks Lodges have RV spots. Every RV spot is taken. And I park to the side and I say, don't worry, we got this.
When are the tears coming?
In the world. Oh, they're coming. I said, somebody is going to pull out today. It's a first come, first serve. Or somebody will pull out tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. I will just camp out in the RV here as long as it takes, without a care in the world. And an hour and a half later, we had a spot.
Wow.
Walking distance to Whole Foods, walking distance to so many places, a little bit farther from uptown Sedona, but pretty close to everything. And it was perfect how that all worked out. Now, Sedona in the spring and Sedona for Jessica in the past has been this place of incredible healing,
right,
of grounding. I have never been in a busier tourist town in my life.
Wow.
To get a mile down the road from the roundabout toward Oak Creek or something will take you hours.
Oh, no. Well, you have bikes, though, right?
Thank God we have bikes, because we are faster than any car in town now. It is a zoo.
Wow.
Unlike anything I have ever seen. The trails are a zoo. The roads are in the zoo. People are renting these 4x4 motorcycle-y vehicles called Can-Ams and driving all over the place with loud motors. I have not felt this centered energy of Sedona. I'm centered, but I have not felt any special anything.
Wait, but you've been there before. You've been to Sedona before, so you know what it's like if it's not crowded.
It's never worked for me, but it's always been quiet. The energy was always over the top. Now the energy is spring breaker. They said last week.
Fall break.
Somebody said it's fall break, which spring break it feels more like spring break Daytona Beach.
Right, because it's like
what it feels like
85 degrees.
And over the top crowded and over the top people everywhere.
Wearing masks, or what are people doing?
They wore masks at the Grand Canyon. Here, very few people wear masks except for the shopkeepers, and they have masks for when you come in. It's interesting. North Rim masks. No, actually, Zion, everybody masked. North Rim, not so many masks. Here, almost no masks, except when you go into a store, you're required to wear a mask. I went into one shopkeeper who did have a mask on it at a crystal shop, and he was basically crying. It was the saddest shopkeeper I have ever met.
Oh, why?
About nobody caring about the people here this year being very different than any other year. So he was having a very different Sedona experience.
No.
Jessica's asleep right now because we had a beautiful mountain bike ride and she's exhausted. And she's like, Sedona was so great until you came here with me.
Well,
I'm like,
both
what?
of, as far as I know, both of you are going to be living wherever you go. So I kind of like if it's not working for you, it seems like it's not working for you for
It
whatever
does
reason.
not feel right.
Hmm.
Now, yesterday we aired our second of our new kind of series of stuff on YouTube where we share our personal stories. And oh my God, such a beautiful video. And if anybody has a chance, go to youtube.com/Inspire Nation Show. I am so proud of this thing. And it didn't do well initially.
Oh,
It'll do well over time. I don't know why it didn't. May have been the algorithm or the title or the who knows what, but it didn't. And we both felt crushed. First, I felt a little crushed because you're like, what are we doing out here? Where are we going? How's this going to
mm,
work? And I know it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. But the ego still wants to have its pity party.
right.
And so like this morning I did my automatic writing, automaticwriting.com, everybody, you want this. I did my automatic writing. I did tabbing, I did emotion code, I did all this clearing work. And then I did my coaching thing. And as I'm doing my coaching thing, then it was Jessica's chance to go down. And it's such a feeling of all right,
Wait,
if
go
it's
down
not
as in go down to the city or go down emotionally, like go crashing?
emotionally,
Okay.
emotionally, the 30-foot 5 RV has been such a clutter fest. Every paperclip has to have a home. Neither of us is that level of organized yet.
Mm,
Everything that comes out must go back in. So you
mm.
start the day and everything looks pristine for one breath. 5 minutes later, it looks like you are the messiest person in the world, is what it
Mm,
looks like within 5 minutes. Where does your ego go with that? How does it feel you're a pro? How does it feel you're taking care of your environment and yourself when everything feels like it's just barfed everywhere because you just took one thing out of the
mm,
cabinet?
mm,
You couple that with um, where do we live? Are we going to rent someplace? Are we looking to buy someplace? Are we looking to stay at an RV? Stay in an RV? And then how would you purchase an RV in only the next 3.5 weeks? Or how will you find a place to live in only 3.5 weeks? And how will you park the RV and get everything out of it and get the RV cleaned and find the cars and drive the 100 miles, 200 plus, 250, 300 maybe miles between the cars and the RV to get it all figured out? And where are you going next? And Sedona isn't turning out at all like you expected. And the one place that you're interested in, Driggs, Idaho, maybe that's not the place. And you know nothing.
mm.
And your system goes down. It's not a bad thing. It's like you're tripping a circuit. You don't judge the circuit on your, in the house when you plugged in too many things and the switch flips and you go out to the garage and reset it. You don't judge it. You don't say bad circuit. What are
Right.
you doing, trip wiring or however we want to call it? But that's what's been going on. So there've been a bunch of tears. There's been a bunch of I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I know it'll all work out, but I don't pretend to know what and where. That's all we can do is feel it out. Say
It's interesting.
what is feeling right.
I'm doing this five elements class, and what the wisdom is when you feel confused or lost, it's because you have too much air as the element, and so air or fire or both, and so you carry a lot of fire generally. So I assume that you're just stoking up the fire and like
Well,
getting a
and
lot of air.
she's got a lot more fire than me.
Yeah,
So yes, we have been spending some barefoot time grounding to
yeah.
the earth. Um, but when there is like for the last 2 days, there's been nobody in this parking area because everybody left Sunday night. It's full now again, and so it's wall to wall people on both sides of us, which may be why Rue doesn't want to go out,
Mm.
and it feels different. It feels buzzy. It feels spun. It feels overwhelmed and compacted.
Well, because the energy in Sedona is like it's earth, but it's like this spirally kind of, it's like a different kind of earth energy, which is different than the kind of earth energy that I'm hearing you're normally going through. So maybe
The
it's a,
Jessica didn't like it earlier today. Sorry to cut you off. I think this
Yeah.
goes along these lines. We went mountain biking up out of town, and when we got above the red rocks and got to the next level of strata, there's a lot more green. And I said, "Ah, I can finally breathe." Because the
Mm.
red rock to me is earth stripped away. It's the
Yeah, it's
bones.
more fire and more fire and air and grounding, like some
Yes.
combo of it.
So like last night we were watching a movie, T.S. Spivet. This boy wins this award with the Smithsonian. He's only 10 years of age, and he hitchhikes across the country on a train, which just happens to have an RV on the train, and he sleeps in the RV. First RV movie we've seen in like forever, or first RV movie we've seen together. But when you saw images of him in Montana with these rolling, lush green hills, and then mountains that are normally snow capped, but it was summer, so granite mountains above it. That had a sensation of ah, and
Yeah.
grounding.
Yeah.
Whereas the Sedona, 85, 90 degrees, everybody, everywhere, rock bed, dust, um,
Well,
has
it's
a
just
very
yeah, it's
different
just
kind
like
of
more it's more fire and air. Like which you, if you're already confused, it's just like making it worse versus grounding and water, like someplace where you're like at a lake with trees would be like the better
yeah.
scenario at this point because it just sounds like it's just too much, man. Well, I mean,
So,
what's
but
yeah.
it's okay. I'm not complaining. I'm in the best physical fitness shape, at least on a bicycle. We haven't run as much as we've ridden. I'm in the best shape I've been, I swear, since I was racing in Europe. I am
Wow.
so strong because with the RV lifestyle, it has afforded us the chance to hop out of the RV, get a workout in, hop out of the RV, do this, versus me being stuck at my desk. So there are huge
Hmm.
benefits.
Yeah.
It's just finding that resonance.
Find a, is there a lake around there? A lake with trees around there?
Jessica was here when she said there was a downpour when she left town in March.
Mm.
According to one of the former city manager of San Jose, who now volunteers for the city here, he says there hasn't been a significant rainfall now in Sedona in 2 years.
Oh my
That the
goodness.
monsoon stopped 2 years ago.
Wow.
It is so dry. I know there are all these forest fires around me in Colorado, but here it looks so much drier. I'm riding my bike going, oh
Wow.
boy,
Right.
because sooner or later we know what's going to happen. It is so dry,
Yeah. Mm.
and so there's no water. We went to a place that they lovingly called the Seven Sacred Pools, like the Seven
Yeah, I
Sacred
was gonna
Pools
say
in
like a
Maui.
water place. Yeah.
There was
No.
nothing.
No. Oh no. Well,
Steering,
that's a,
guidance, all steering, all guidance.
wow. So how long do you think you'll stay there for?
I keep on re-upping here in this park night by night. It is supposed to be through, it's supposed to take a week here, so at least through to Saturday morning.
Mm.
We were thinking of going to drive to Phoenix in the morning to look at larger RVs
Mm.
um, because this one seems to be a bit too small, easier to turn around and things. But I really believe, I can't believe I'm going to say this, we need the largest RV we can get our hands on if we're going to have three cats, a rooster, a show, and the two of us. Now, Jessica woke up this morning with a profound insight. Um, and we'd heard this before, but she embodied it this morning. And that was, she goes, I feel lost if I don't have a destination.
Mm.
Being on the road without a destination feels very unstable. If you give me, and it's a term I've been using with clients lately, a North Star. If you give me a North Star, if you give me a point to shoot for, I feel much better. What if we make those points different guests and we stay on the road and we say we're going to go to whether it's a Greg Braden, a Joe Dispenza, a CJ Liu, a whomever, and we point ourselves, we don't have to be there tomorrow, but that becomes the destination, and then we do a show with them in person. She's like, that
Wow.
would feel much better. And I think we've talked about it before, but it really resonates now. That feels genius.
Mm. Yeah, so you'd have to find like go back to the Navajo place and see if there's like a person you could interview, something like that.
Well, I think you pick and choose who your guests are, and say where are they? What's our map or route to get to them? Yes, you could reverse engineer it that way as well. She does also say though that she would like a home base, some place to at least hang a hat that gives her some sense of grounding. And so she goes, all right, if we do this, if we go follow to one guest and then to another, she's like, where's our home base going to be?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're again complete blank.
You don't know yet.
Idea. None, zero, zippo.
Dream time. It will come in your dreams. Whatever happened to that woman who did that map for you, where she actually did that map?
Oh, years ago. And she had said, Sedona, I believe, good for Jessica, not for me. She said, Colorado, Jessica will yank you out of there. You'll only make it a few years. That's exactly what happened. And a lot, she said the East Coast was very gentle for us. And then she may have suggested one or two other places, but generally speaking, this wasn't resonance with me. Taos might have been okay. I don't remember. But this is definitely
It would be
not.
interesting to do an interview with her just as like a way to kind of like maybe that would be another way to pick guest and location. You know what I mean? So that she'd be like, oh, well, in your neck of the woods, why not try blankety blank? Like she may have like 5 or 6 different places you could check out. Who
True.
knows?
And I really like what you're saying. I'm going to revisit this idea of where can we go for water and lake, because we had to get out of anywhere near the Northwest and the North because of all the smoke. Jessica, I think, is doing really good today. It's tremendously smoky here today.
Really? So it's still smoky there. Oh my
The
gosh.
smoke followed us here. The first day was very clear, and then each subsequent day has been getting smokier and smokier. Although, I mean, she's a rockin' superstar. We came down this Jeep road today, and she chased down a 4-wheel drive because she said when I got back, she said she had barn fever. I'm like, who are you?
Well, I was thinking about you because Colorado is going through such a hard time with the smoke. I mean, I hope your place is okay. Your previous place is okay. Like, I'm so glad you moved out of there.
From what I saw in the fires a couple days ago, it's okay. Where we lived in Boulder, the whole place is in smoke right now. So it's such an interesting time,
I
and that's
know.
another reason that we're feeling, because we've called ourselves skittish deer, which means that if something doesn't feel right, we tend to be the first to move.
Yeah.
And so maybe it is that we just stay in an RV and are very nimble.
Yeah. How does the RV work? So is it like you rent it for a certain, I thought that someone actually owns that
Oh,
RV and they have to
this
be,
one we have to return in 3.5 weeks.
and can you drop it anywhere or does it have to go back to where you found it?
It has to go back to where we found it in Denver.
Okay.
Our vehicles are 300 miles west of Denver.
Right.
And so we will have to stop off at the vehicles first, pick up a vehicle. Then we have to drop off everything that's in the RV, including the kitties and the rooster, somewhere. Go home.
Right.
And then we have to drop off the RV and drive back to where everything else has been dropped off.
Right.
This mentally, if we go to the mind, is a freaky deaky challenge. There's no other way to put it.
I can imagine. I think water, even if it's like go to, a spa or like someplace that's just water, even if you don't have the 7 sacred lakes or whatever, just water because, and it's interesting because I think, the water and grounding is the thing that's missing. And so anything that you can do, take a mud bath, like something, and go to a spa, like something to just
Well, we
get
went to
yourself
go to
grounded.
this foot spa. She's like, I know it's COVID, but we got to go to this foot spa. They're Chinese people. They'll be incredibly careful.
Yeah.
And they closed with COVID.
Oh no, Michael.
That's the resonance. That's how it's going on.
I'm so sorry. Oh my
But we
gosh.
will find something. We will earth more and we will find water. I
Yeah,
will
earth
take
and
you as
water. Yeah, I think
the
that
voice
that's
of the universe of we've got to find
that's my
water.
five element wisdom. I've been taking a class I just started today on five elements, and it's all about balance and harmony. And the thing that I know about you, Michael, is you're always so good about getting out and doing a workout, but the place that you're in is not. It's not that same grounding kind of energy. It's got this woo, like Sedona. From what I mean, I I like the vortexes, but it's very swirly kind of energy. So if you're kind of at all feeling this way, kind of like already, it's not. It probably doesn't feel very grounding and comforting. It probably just feels like woo, like
It
on
feels
a
like
ride.
Disney World.
Yeah,
So you get a good ride. You go on your, I guess, waterless flume,
yeah.
uh, but it doesn't have that element to it. But now
Uh,
I'm looking at Jessica, who's just woken up, and I hope that I'm her hero. I think the rice got a little mushy. Um, she's nodding her head no, but I actually cooked for her this afternoon. She would say I took her on an epic ride. I would say she took me, but debatable.
that's
But
so funny.
it really is what she wants. But she's not getting her normal Sedona experience. She says it's my fault, but she's not getting it. And
Yeah,
that's universe and guidance.
yeah,
Guiding us to where, though?
yeah,
Where?
yep. Well, I can't wait to hear about your next week because I have a feeling that things are going to shift. Things are going to shift.
Everything I'm told in automatic writing is we will get clarity this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Yeah. And I think just getting some balance because you guys have been like from literally being chased by fires to being surrounded by fires. There's no
And this
earthy
town
kind of
feels like fire.
yeah,
That's
there's
the best
no there's
description.
earth
I've been
minus
describing
earth.
it instead of saying hotter than hell. I've been saying it's hotter than heaven. A very trying to put a positive, but it's the
Yeah.
hottest I have been all summer, all year has been in Sedona. Going, oh my God, it's
Mm.
so hot.
All right.
I
Well,
feel like
I
I'm
look
going to
forward to
slur up.
talking to you next week. I know we have to wrap up because both of us
Okay,
have something
last
going
couple
on.
things. You had an all-nighter client jazz. Anything you want to mention there? Or are we
No,
good?
we'll talk about it next time. We'll talk about it next time.
All right, so the only words of wisdom I have for people, other than please follow our journey, two things. Follow our journey on youtube.com/Inspire Nation. If you want every day by day, how we're doing, what's going on with Ruru, all this stuff, then come support us at patreon.com, patreon.com/Inspire Nation, Patreon, patreon.com/Inspire Nation. And you get the behind the scenes access of everything that's going on minus probably most of the tears, I hope. But this is life, and
Yeah.
life is right now. We just feel it out. You can't think 10 steps ahead. How does the next step feel? Is it good? Is it light? Take it. Is it heavy? Does it feel bad? Don't take it. That's where we're at in a 35-foot box, but I believe that's where everybody is at in October 2020.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think it's all about balance and harmony and doing and getting yourself to a place of equilibrium because right now it's so crazy for everyone. So maybe in your case you have too much fire. In some cases they have too much water. So it
Absolutely.
just depends on what's coming about for people. Some people are feeling depressed, too much ground, too much earth. So it's whatever it is, it's just all about thinking about and it's very intuitive, I think, this whole five element thing. Like too
Oh,
much earth feels logy, you know?
I was riding the bike the first day we got here, and Jessica's like, I don't know. She asked me something about afterwards. Was this beautiful? Was this? And I'm like, it was a nice bike ride, but there was only one word that came to my mind the entire ride: water.
Yeah, you intuitively know it, right? Anyway, so fine. I hope to. I'm praying that you get balance, some water, and some greens. That's my greatest hope for you. Soon.
Oh, still my heart. All right, thank you so much, CJ. So
Yes.
for everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler, and
CJ Loop from the Fired Up with CJ show.
be well, have fun, feel into things, find that balance that CJ is talking about, and above and beyond all else, shine bright.
Woohoo! Okay. It means so much to me that you're listening to the show. I would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show, or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.